All right, welcome into this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. Corey Moen, Evan Byrne. Evan, how we doing?
Doing well. Schedule's out. I'm a little disappointed in the Christmas game, but the schedule's out. We're getting closer to the season.
Schedule's out. Season is officially set to begin. You corrected me if I'm wrong. October 26th. Milwaukee's
Bucks,
first game, October 26th. And it is against, I'll just give this away right away. It's going to be against Philly.
Yep. I think it was last year too, if I'm not
mistaken.
It
was last year, except this one's in Milwaukee, I believe, correct?
It is, yes. I think last year it was flipped.
Maybe,
I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah. So last year it was in Philly. That's where Wesley Matthews had that big three-pointer.
Yes.
But look, here's the thing. That's going to be an interesting matchup too, because, is James Harden going to be there in a couple months? Who knows?
That's crazy what's going on in that era of the NBA right now, wanting to play in China. If he goes to China, he's never coming back to the NBA. There's no way.
I don't think he will. I just think more or less he was talking about, fans always love me out here in China.
Yep.
So I don't. He's like a player with his talent level, and he still has a lot of talent.
Yep.
And he still has a lot of talent left. He would not go to China. I don't see it. Okay. Only the real washed NBA players who couldn't cut it in the league.
Yep.
Go to China. And, I mean, of course, you get like Dwight Howard always trying to recruit other players.
LeBron and
playing Taiwan.
Uh-huh.
I know we're playing Taiwan. Your own owner didn't even want you.
Uh-huh.
How are you gonna recruit players if you're like your own guy didn't even want to like re-sign you or made you take a pay cut? That's funny to me. But like, yeah, that's an interesting situation for Philly. Like the deteriorating relationship of James Harden and Daryl Morey.
I love it. Trust the process.
But you know what? Glad it's not us.
They didn't do anything with it, so I'm fine with that. The downfall of Philly. That never even was like a peak Philly.
Yeah.
Second round. All
right. So we're just going to go ahead. We're going to do kind of a live react to the schedule. So here's how what we're going to do. We're just going to pick and choose like certain games that kind of catch our eye. And then like I guess we could do like what could be a tough stretch of games, because there always is a tough stretch of games where there's a gauntlet of good teams you're playing, and you're just like, whew, this could be the best part. This could be the best part of the schedule. Or the worst, who knows?
Yes.
You learn a lot about yourself as a team if you can like knock off like other contending teams.
Yes.
So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to share this and let's see what we got here. All right. So what I've done here is I've pulled up Eric Names of the Athletic status. Okay. Got posted today. So here's what we got. So obviously, as we mentioned before, it's going to be Philly Thursday, October 26th at 6:30.
National TV game to start off the season too. That one's TNT. I think they have 30 televised games this year, if I'm not mistaken. A lot in a row too.
Yeah, that's
from March 17th to March 30th. They're all televised, so every single game in a row.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Here's the thing that scares me, Evan. It's a 6:30 game, so that means we could be getting Stan Van Gundy.
Yes,
that scares me. That scares me a little bit. Our first podcast, we talked about how Stan Van Gundy had no idea how to pronounce Giannis's last name. So again, if I have to deal with more of that, that's just it's gonna be diarrhea in my ears. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just it's not gonna. I hope it's not gonna be Stan Van Gundy in that game. With it being a 6:30 game in Milwaukee, it probably will be. What else? Then we have another nationally televised game that next Friday, November 3rd, against the New York Knicks at home.
Yes.
Nice. I like that. A little bit. Back-to-back weeks while we're on national television. Now, in terms of like watchability of this game, I don't know how much it's there. I don't know if people like tune in to watch Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, maybe we could like layer this as like a Dante DiVincenzo reunion for Milwaukee of sorts, but really he was a role player, so I don't think anybody's going to care that much about it. I don't think this is going to be like, LeBron going back to Cleveland or anything. It's not going to be
LeBron, Dante, same thing.
Yeah, basically, Dante should have had his own decision. Let's see what else we got.
The beginning of the season is kind of weird because it's like you never know who's going to be good. Because you got Philly and Atlanta, okay, yeah. And then you have the Heat to open up. Then you got Toronto and New York and Brooklyn, Detroit. Indiana will probably be a good one. But then you got the Magic, the Bulls, Toronto against Charlotte. So it's a toss-up in the air of what's going to be – who's going to be good, who isn't. But looking through, there's maybe like one area that I see like, okay, that could be a little tricky, or two areas, but overall, I feel like it's pretty spaced out appropriately. The big one I see is March 6th to March, we'll go March 20th. All those games in a row. You got Golden State, then then the Lakers. Even before Golden State, you got all your California teams. You go Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Clippers again, Kings, and then you go to Philly, or Philly comes to us, and then the Suns come here, and then you go to Boston. That's going to be a little tricky.
Yep.
And I think that's the biggest stretch of tough games, I think, overall. Otherwise, you maybe have like one in January. It's Boston, Warriors, Kings, Cleveland. Couple games, probably go 2-2 or 3-1, but that's a big one. All the California teams, which means it's going to be late night game. That's my least favorite thing about the California games. You got 9:00 p.m., 9:00. Then you got a 2:00. They were a little nice to us. But then 9:00 and then back to the old regular schedule times.
By the way, ESPN, what the hell is going on March 1st? At Chicago, 9 p.m.?
Well, with Javon Carter is making a huge difference down there, so got to toss that ESPN.
Come on, ESPN. Can we, I get it. They have to get it. They've gotten rid of all their talent this summer. I get that, but really, can you level with the fans a little bit?
Yeah, that was like the Brewers and Pirates national televised Fox game. Like it's random. It's random.
No, it's ridiculous. Okay, we're in the Midwest. 9:00 is 9:00. I don't like 9:00 games where I don't expect a 9:00 game.
Yes, when it's not needed.
No, it's unnecessary. Okay, how many people actually stay up to watch the 9 p.m. games unless you unless you're like a diehard NBA fan and you don't really care about sleep and you don't have a job.
Yep.
And your job is making content in the NBA. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It is. It's ridiculous to have the NBA just randomly throw in a 9:00 game when it's unnecessary. It's not needed. It's still a 7:00 game. It didn't used to be this way. It didn't.
And then you get, it's annoying because I think they did that last year with the Timberwolves, or 2 years ago. I remember there was the 9:00 Timberwolves national televised game, but 9:00 games in California makes sense because it's not 9 for them there, but it's 9 here for both of us. So why don't we trim that down to 7:00? But I'm sure there's some other game that doesn't need to be at that time, and they just do their thing over there.
And it looks like that might. I'm reviewing the schedule here. That might be the only 9:00 game that Milwaukee has against that Milwaukee plays this season in which, it
It's
looks like that's the only one.
Yeah. Besides the California teams and all those, that looks like it's the only one. Thankfully.
Jesus, at Chicago though. Good Lord, that's. Whew. I know. I just had to look. I had to get that off my chest. I think everybody finds it ridiculous. Like everybody, people have to cover the game. Fans, like you're not gonna get that game has no watchability factor whatsoever, just because of the fact that at least with the people who work, at least like you could watch a little bit of a 7:00 game. But a 9:00 game, you're not going to be able to catch anything. Like people are in bed, they have to work the next morning. Like you're just not going to be able to watch any of the game, really. I mean, I haven't, I think us being 24, 25, it's like, we got to wake up early to go to work the next morning.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that one's a Friday, but then you have the next ones where it's a Wednesday for a 9:00, and then another Friday, thankfully. But yeah, those midweek ones where they're 8:00, 9:00 is always tough, but at least they're timed. It's not like baseball starting at 9 and then it's done at like 11:30 or midnight sometimes. But it should hopefully be, I'll be happy if they win. Then I'll make the 9:00 better.
Oh boy, and in the first 3 games aren't any gimmies either, because they've had trouble against the Hawks and against the Heat.
Yep, and that's sometimes the Raptors too, depending on the season, who's on the team. But there's some stretches where I'm hoping they can just get some win streaks, maybe lose one. I want to go on streaks. I don't want to do win 2, lose 2, win 3, lose 1, and it's like just get a little streak going to start off. And beating the teams that you need to beat. Now, obviously, it's going to happen. It happens every year where you lose 1 or 2 to a team that you probably should have won. But the Bucks or Wisconsin sports seems to do it a lot just in general, lose to the teams you probably shouldn't be losing to. But I'm hoping we could just kind of beat out Detroit and Charlotte, and Houston's going to be a little different this year. But like the Bulls, the Magic, Detroit, kind of even the Raptors now with who they're getting rid of. The Spurs, I'm hoping you can beat easily. Wembanyama, I don't know yet, but still, some of these teams just win the game and be done with it, and don't, not necessarily play from behind, but don't play down to your competition when you could just blow them out and be done with it.
And Evan, I know we talked about this before on a previous podcast, but obviously, as we've mentioned before, there's a new wrinkle to the NBA schedule there.
There is, yes. In December, I believe.
December 4th through the 9th, there's going to be something, obviously, if you guys don't know, it's going to be called the play-in tournament that the NBA has been trying to institute for years, and now they finally have, not only the support from the players, but, you got enough votes to finally make the play-in tournament come to fruition.
Yes.
Watch our previous podcast to see how the inner workings, how it's all going to work, but it's going to go on for a whole week of a schedule in which games are still going to be played.
Yep, and then if I remember correctly, they do count as regular season games, or some of them do.
And whoever's in the championship game, I believe, gets one extra regular season game, I believe. So I think it's 83 instead of 82.
So that's when the Bucks go 83-0 and set a new record. Got it. Yep.
You know what? I would love for that to happen. I know how impossible it is. I mean, it was ridiculous when the Warriors started off with 24 straight wins.
And guess who beat them? Us. Anyways.
It's, you know what? Jokingly, I thought that the Warriors were going to go undefeated once they got Kevin Durant. And, they did not.
No. It's always weird of who you add, who you get rid of, that changes things. But Kevin Durant, man, that was the time.
2016, man. Goodness. What else? What else could I
mentioned earlier about the Christmas game. We're playing.
Oh yeah, what was your problem with that?
It's the same teams every year. It's always the Knicks or the Celtics have been. I think the last 2 years have been the Celtics. But it's always New York or Boston. It's never anyone else, and it's so annoying. Like I want something new. Give me like another Bucks Philly one. I know that was a few years ago, and the Bucks lost, and I was so mad because it ruins my Christmas. It's if you are a fan, a diehard fan like that, and losing on Christmas sucks because it's always at night. The day's like kind of like, or if it's an afternoon game like it was this last year, or later in the afternoon, man, it gets me upset. But yeah, we got the Knicks again for Christmas in New York, so I can't even go to it. But again, that's a nationally televised one. I was kind of hoping for a different team again, and the Knicks, it's so random. But what'll be a good one is the Mavericks against the Suns. I've read a comment and someone said it's so nice that they let Luka see his kids on Christmas. So looking forward to that one. I try to watch every Christmas game.
Well, I mean, you could. I mean, isn't like your family and your girlfriend like diehard Bucks fans?
Oh yeah, we are.
So
huge Bucks fans.
Couldn't somebody in your family like splurge and be like, hey, we're going to New York for Christmas?
I would love that. I'm going to like nonchalantly mention that. We almost did that for the Packers a few years ago when they went to Paris. Not even a Packer fan. No, it was either the Bucks or the Packers when they went overseas, but it would be nice. It would be nice. Go to New York for Christmas, watch the Bucks, hopefully win. Noted. That's in my head right now.
That would be impossible though, just because of the fact like how many people would travel over the holidays, like that, especially to New York. You might need to plan that flight right now.
Yep, Dad, if you're listening to this, let's figure that out. I know he listens.
Let's get the and plus, like I'm not trying to be a buzzkill, but I'm just trying to think about this logically. And plus, like, that plane ticket's not gonna be cheap either.
No, we got to walk there.
You got to, you're spending like $5,000-$6,000 on a plane ticket. I mean,
yeah, if we leave right now, we could get there way in time.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to take Spirit. That's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to go on the cheapest flight possible, on like the worst airline possible.
Yep. And hope I get there.
And hope you get there. Well, hope you get there alive, first of all.
Yes.
Okay. I would never, unless I really had to, I would never like willingly be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fly Spirit Airlines. I would not do it. I wouldn't do it.
Oh, okay. I got a note. Christmas. It's not gonna happen. Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
But I want to go to a new stadium. I've only been to Fiserv to see a Bucks game. But yeah, I think overall, some of the big things is the March games are going to be tough. But I'm hoping, again, being optimistic, you want to at least split that series. But again, I don't know how. What team was I thinking of? I don't know how the Warriors are going to be. Obviously, they got Chris Paul now. They lost Jordan Poole. Don't know how they're going to be. Obviously, they're still going to be good. Clippers are always iffy. And then same with the Lakers. The Bucks can either destroy them or it's a pretty close game. So it'll be interesting. It's always fun to have tough games like that where it seems like even if you lose, it sucks, but it was like a good fought out game. For that basically entire month of March is going to be jam-packed with good games because then you got Brooklyn, even OKC, the Lakers again. That'll be a good month. We're looking forward to March. But yeah, that's my big takeaway for the season. That's going to be the hardest.
And look, and here's what I really hope for. Okay? Cuz he said this the other day. I hope that when people are talking about Eastern Conference contenders, they put in Miami over Philly. Because, Bam Adebayo, he said this the other day where it's like, I don't feel like we get like enough respect just because of like everything we've done. And it's like, and people, of course, are going to be like, well, you didn't win a ring. It's like, okay, that has nothing to do with that. Like, Miami's roster being basically less talented than Boston's and Milwaukee and still accomplishing what they've accomplished. like I'm here to say right now, like it's gonna be the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Heat. I just think those three teams, yeah, like they're gonna be right there. And what else was I gonna say? That's all right. Well, that's enough. Oh, it's Spurs. Okay. Ooh, Victor Wembanyama in January. I like that.
Yeah, the TNT game as well. I'm curious of how he's going to do. Him and Chet Holmgren finally making his debut this year, so we'll kind of see how OKC does, and then obviously the Spurs as well.
People are already hopping on the Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we scored 37 points in a run with these NBA players. Well, okay. Do people honestly take those runs that serious? I've seen what those runs look like. Okay, there's not a lot of defense being played.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Really? Okay. Like, he's an NBA player. Like, if nobody's playing a lick of defense against him, I would expect Chet Holmgren to look good as the number 2 overall pick in the draft from last year. Jesus. It's like what they did for Carmelo Anthony every year. Hoodie Mello coming alive. It's like, no, he's shooting against nobody. He's an NBA player. He's expected to make that. And like I said before, they do the same thing with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, he's curling 100-pound dumbbells. New attitude for Ben Simmons this year.
I don't know how much you pay attention to this, but did you see that Ben Simmons has a higher 2K rating than MarJon? They gave MarJon a 72 overall.
What did they give Ben Simmons?
I think 76. That's crazy.
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing. I still think that people are still holding out hope for Ben Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
I think his
100%.
game has declined 2 of the past 3 seasons. But, MarJon, MarJon's had flashes of being good. But if you're asking me right now, do I think right now he's a better player than Ben Simmons? I would say not right now. I think if he reaches, because if he gets more minutes this year and he shows off his potential, he'll be a better player than Ben Simmons.
Yep.
If Ben Simmons keeps at the same level that he's at right now.
Yeah, when they showed the overall rating, MarJon responded. I think a retweet, just F him. He's coming out.
You can't. You got to take those 2K ratings with a grain of salt. Okay,
that's my favorite part about this season is when people see their reactions to their overalls. I think it's funny because it doesn't matter.
Athletes are competitive. This is some of the most Captain Obvious statement of all time. Professional athletes are competitive about every single thing.
Yep.
2K rating, speed, agility, it doesn't matter. Okay. If they feel slighted in any way, shape, or form, they're gonna call you out on it. And again, I don't really know how it gets decided. Oh, this guy's a 97, but this guy's a 99. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. The ratings get overrated every single year.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Just seeing all their reactions to it, but shows MarJon's ready for the season. I'm excited to watch him, hoping he gets minutes. But yeah, I think overall, I'm going to throw out a prediction for wins. I'm going to not include the 83 for the play, and I'm just going to go kind of straight up with the 82. I'm going to say 55-58. 55-58, I think, is a good. But I'm going to say that range, but I'm going to say a solid 56.
I'm going to go 50-54.
Okay.
I might go 50-54. I'm actually going to stop sharing because I think we're done with this. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go 50-54 just because of, Milwaukee had the best regular season record last year. I expect that to continue. And again, I hope everyone stays healthy. Okay. I hope that Chris Middleton is healthy coming into the season. I hope that Pat's healthy coming into the season. Giannis was last year, so that's not really a concern. But again, you just hope that everyone's, has a clean bill of health heading into the year, because this team, every year we say, well, this team could compete for championships, all this other stuff. Because I still think that there's potential that this team could struggle early on, just because you're dealing with a new coach.
Yep.
You're kind of bringing in some new players there. So, it'll be a touch and go for a little bit, but I think once everybody kind of figures it out, then I think this team will be golden.
That's a fair statement. I kind of didn't put the new coach into perspective. I'm going to sit at 56. I don't think they're going to be like a 60-win team this season. I would say in the 50s, they'll for sure get 56. Will go solid. I feel like there could be a couple games where they kind of steal a win. So I'm kind of putting those into what if this happens? They shouldn't have won this game, but they did. So we're going to go 56. 56 and whatever the losses are. I don't want to really do the math right now. It'll take me too long.
I don't either. I don't know how many losses. I'm not good at math either, so I don't know what.
Yeah, carry the 8 and
like 58 and 24. I don't know. Whatever it is, the Bucks will probably make the playoffs. Okay, hopefully they compete for championship this year. Again, at this point in Giannis's career, and this team, and really for this team, you hope for that every year.
Yep.
That they could consistently compete for championships. And I'm not expecting a championship every single year, but one of the next few years, I would say.
Yeah, they need at least one more, if not 2 more, for Giannis's career and hopefully staying. But I feel like they can get at least one more. Teams are getting good, which is expected, but got to get at least one more. I'm greedy. I need something to go based off of other teams and sports.
Yeah, and look, Wisconsin's known for one-hit wonders. Okay. Like they'll get a championship, and then they won't win one for another 10 years. So we always have to cherish the one that we get, because we don't know when the next one could be.
Exactly.
And being a Packers fan, I've seen one championship in my life. I haven't seen one since. And kind of changing sports for a second. With the new quarterback, it's probably not going to happen this year. With the Bucks, like Milwaukee's my best hope for the Bucks to win a championship right now. Badger football, if they could maybe get a national championship in a couple years. But yeah, I would like to see a championship, because they put together some good teams. It's just they haven't been able to finish.
Yep. Which always sucks. But yeah, that 2021 year was the bread to butter, basically, of hopefully that's not the last one, but if it is, you see at least one.
Yeah. And people do try to discredit that championship for us, where it's like, well, it was still kind of the COVID year.
No,
it wasn't.
Shut up.
It was. Shut up. It was not. All right, it was a weird year because the season ended in July, but I honestly think that you can't even say anybody really had an advantage that year, because and nobody even had the advantage in the COVID bubble, but in that year where it's like the season didn't start till MLK Day or whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, that team had an advantage. It's like nobody really had an advantage. Everything just went so much longer.
Yeah, it was just different time frame. So it was needed to be seen. Yeah, it's always appeal, just because your team doesn't win, you have to count out the achievement from the other team that won. That's how I see it. My team didn't win, so I'm gonna diminish it.
Okay. All right. Before we get out of here, I did have one more topic, because I saw this today. I don't know if you read this on Twitter, but the NASA said that him and Giannis's goal, once they obviously acquire enough money, is to one day own an NBA team.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, would you? Now, obviously, I would love for them to own the Bucks. Okay, that's just me. But I don't even know what they're like. I guess they do. Both of them I mean, would it be both of them combined? Because it would have to be Giannis's money. Because
Yeah, everything is Giannis's money. That's my favorite part about some things like the soccer team they own. It's like him, Thanasis, and Alex, but it's Giannis's money.
Yeah, like Giannis is like what? He's like part owner of the Brewers. Is that right?
Yeah, part owner of the Brewers. They got like a soccer team, I think, in Nashville. I could be wrong on the city, but yeah, it's his money.
Yeah, like, and he's got his own shoe. Like
Yep.
nobody's wearing Thanasis's. The only person who's ever worn Thanasis's shoe was Giannis.
Yes.
Because that was only because like they were so poor that they had to swap shoes during the game, which it's crazy that's how far those two have come from going from that to making a lot of money in the NBA. But yeah, it would be funny because it's like, because it makes it sound like those two, like, oh, we're gonna do so well in business that we could own a team, but it's like, well, Giannis could own the team, but he might, like, you guys might be along for the ride here, where he might have you on it like as like investors or as part of his group, but
yeah, I feel like.
Sorry.
No, you go.
Yeah, selfishly, I would love for Giannis to own the Bucks, or I guess buy the Bucks. I guess is the correct term. It's probably not gonna happen for years from now. But hey, how many? Jimmy Haslam. Sorry, Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Bucks. Wesley Edens. How many years can both of them really own the Bucks? So.
Yeah, I kind of see it as it'd be cool if they own the Bucks. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I feel like if they were to do it, it would probably be maybe a rebuilding team. That'd be my guess of let's try to turn this team into a championship team. You got some of the 10 to or maybe even like 12 to 15 seeds. That'd be my guess, but who knows?
Okay, but a sleeping giant though, I don't want him to go to like Orlando.
Yeah, I don't either.
Or Washington. If they go to Washington, if they buy the Wizards, like you have to care about basketball there too.
Yep.
Like you can't just go to like Orlando or Washington or like Charlotte. Charlotte would not be a good spot for the Antetokounmpo bros to own a team.
Yeah, I saw there's a post out on NBA, ESPN, SportsCenter, out of whatever page they posted it, but it was the potential starting lineups, and they posted like 7 starting lineups for teams that got new players, and they showed they snuck the Wizards in there, and I looked at that starting lineup. I was, oof. People in the comments were like flaming them. They're like, "Why'd you put the Wizards in this?" It's like Poole and Kuzma, then you got like Caspi or whatever his
Kispert,
yeah, Kispert. And it's like probably maybe could have kept that one out. Obviously, you kind of have to just because Jordan Poole and Kuzma are, well, not Kuzma's new to the Wizards, but Poole is. But oof, that did not look good.
Debbie, whatever the guy's name is, like that's, oh my god. Like the Wizards. I don't really know what to think. I know nobody really cares about like the Wizards basketball. I do think that they're kind of trying to build something there. They got rid of Porzingis. Kuzma, they re-signed Kuzma and they got Jordan Poole. Again, I don't understand why people like players have good years like when they're with the Wizards. Like nobody, like people really don't care about basketball in Washington, which means there's absolutely positively no pressure to win.
Exactly. You have nothing to worry, not things to worry about, but it's not, oh, you lost, great. Now, yeah, nothing to lose.
No.
Evan, you got 5 games, yeah.
Oh yeah, Jesus. Evan, you got anything else?
Not at the moment. No, I feel we're getting closer to preseason. It's still got a little ways, but that's always a few weeks before the season. But we're still in that boring time of no NBA stuff.
Yep. So obviously the schedule released today. Who knows? Maybe me and Evan will do a a training camp podcast where we discuss who's looked good at training camp.
Hey, whatever floats the boat. I'm always down to talk Bucks.
You got that. You got that right. So, all right. Thank you guys for tuning into this special edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast, and we'll see you when we see you.